8th of June, 2024 at 7:16 p.m. here in Snohomish, Washington, United States of America. Welcome once again to our Cosmic Journey, the Dev and Design podcast, highlighting our path on building the world's best astrology software. Engineer Trey is with me, and I am designer Jake. Hello, Trey.
Hello, Jake.
A little bit late
What were you
today
saying
with
about
the
the United
episode.
States there? It felt like the United States or something.
It's these United States of America.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It doesn't much matter. Nobody listens to this podcast, although I will say we do have a secret viewer. I don't think I'm going to name any names, but this one is in Berlin, and she had said, "It's so cute that you and Trey do a podcast and you sit in different rooms." And I was so happy that she at least watched at least 2 minutes. So to the nameless viewer, hello, we love you. Mwah.
We love you. And also it just makes it easier for like audio editing and editing the video and everything if we're not like on the same camera and mic.
And also, we're not on the same wavelength. Why would we have the same floor of the house? It just doesn't even make sense.
It's best that we're in separate rooms to really accentuate the fact that we are not even in the same house.
I'll tell you that if and when we ever work from an office, it's going to be exactly like this. Trey,
yeah, Trey's office.
Be over there.
Trey's office.
Trey's in this closet right there. Exactly. This is supposed to be a play on "It's a Cruel Summer." It's a Fuell summer. It's episode 38, and it is probably the biggest reach for a pun that we've had thus far.
for a title.
We'll do Trey's.
What does Fuell mean?
It's Fuell. Fuell summer. It's a Fuell summer. See, if I sing any more of it, because my voice is so good, they're going to copyright strike me. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we don't want that.
Episode 38, we love you. We've got two things to show you, a dev demo and a design demo. The dev demo is going to show you cast chart. The design demo is going to start to show you the assemblage of what this might look like together, but prepare to be underwhelmed. We start then.
As usual,
we start then again with Trey Henry. Once I find your name with there. Trey, give us their checking question. Go for it.
Okay, so today's check-in question, or this iteration's check-in question, is it's the end times, and you are the leader of let's just say budding society in the end times. Where do you set up shop? Like, where do you set up your rebirth of society?
The rebirth of society for me happens on a hill. And Trey and I have talked about this in another way, and I'm going to go through my answer from another question and bring it into this one. The rebirth of my society starts on a hill. Why on a hill? A, good defenses. B, probably goats. C, there is a mystical quality with being on a big hill or a mountain. What do we do in the end times in my society, at least for my tribe? My tribe is the death cult of people who are trying to work through the trauma of end times. So they are, on one hand, world-renowned therapists working through a society that needs a lot of, let's be frank, self-care. But it's also a death cult that dabbles in cannibalism. And that's okay. Like, the cannibalism only happens when you don't pay your bill. What's your bill? Hard to say.
Or you leave like a 2-star review, or
yeah,
like that.
Whatever Yelp is after the end times, which I think is just going to be word of mouth. We hear this and we know, and this death cult, I just think that there's a certain mystical quality. You need a little bit of danger. You need a little bit of jeopardy, even false jeopardy, if you're going to go to the mystical death cult that's there to really help me with my self-actualization problems that I have.
Yeah, and the trauma of being in the end times.
Exactly.
Experience. Yeah, there's
exactly
a lot of therapy needs. Yeah, I forgot about that question actually, which was one of our like non-video check-in questions.
Yeah, I think
my answer is going to be slightly
point
different
up there and go to an episode for it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Mr. Henry? What about you?
Yeah, well, when we were asking when we did that check-in question before, I think my answer was that I would do it inside of a cave because it was also easy to to guard the entrance to it, but also because inside the cave would be bat guano, and we would use that as fertilizer. And so basically, we would trade fertilizer because you would need that. But I think for
Yeah,
this
Trey went to
question,
very
for like,
base needs, and I
yeah,
said society's going to rebuild itself up and then put its BS, its personal BS, back in place. And we all think that we're going to be at the base level of needs. I bet you that we're going to get to self-actualize things, and nobody else is going to be thinking about this except my death cult. But again, sorry, I'm just doing a sales job. Go ahead, Mr. Henry.
yeah. But I think for this question, I think my answer is flotilla. So a federation of floating platforms, kind of all tied together or whatever, to form the new society. This has a number of benefits. Benefit number one is that it is quite easy to defend, or it's a lot easier to defend because you're defending on the water. So it's just you see more things coming. It's pretty easy to spot things. But also you can grow it pretty easily as well. You basically sort of have as much real estate as you want, as long as you can like add more floating stuff to it.
But
Which
water
seems
does
pretty.
have this quality of wanting to go into places where it's not usually wanted. And so, what
Yeah.
about boat repairs?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you have to be self-sustaining on boat repairs and stuff like that.
Okay.
But then also there's going to be a lot of boats just around, because then my other thought was that we would probably our primary goods would be like, fish and uh, um,
Sea greens,
sea greens. Yeah, exactly.
proteins of the sea.
Uh, proteins of the sea.
Feel free to
And
look at that dank meme up there. There you go. That's that one. All right, go ahead.
But also just as kind of like a trade hub, for people sort of like, coming in, because presumably we wouldn't be like too far offshore, just far enough that it would be hard to raid or hard to pirate, or yeah, hard to see from the land, but close enough that you could be sort of like a trade stop for other traders, like moving back and forth. So yeah, so that's it.
Best of both
That's my
worlds.
answer.
We
Yeah.
all. I like this. So you're very functional with the whole thing. You're like, it's going to be a little bit far away. That's not this, but then a little bit this. And mine is, of course, very like, I don't know, metaphysical. It's like you're going to go there for self-actualization, but you might get eaten. So
But you might get
to,
eaten.
you might get eaten. You never know. You might be hungry that day. All right, let's go to
Yeah.
the demos, Mr. Henry. Would you like to discuss
Oh,
what cast chart is and how we are doing it?
yeah, I mean it's more of sort of what we showed last time. So we showed the modals last time and kind of like the start of the cast chart. And now cast chart is actually casting charts. So if you click on the cast chart button, I think I showed last time how the URL stuff works, which is great.
You did.
Um, so yeah, so now we have location and date and time. You can also see that we're sort of rendering the big three, as they're called, in real time. So we have sun, moon, and ascendant down here as well. And this is the location picker. So for example, I could say I'll do my birth chart. So I was born in Carson City. Now you'll notice that when I come down here to the date and start to change the date, and this would also be true if I change the time, the location is going to reset. That is currently a bug, but just ignore that.
Just ignore it. It's fine.
Okay, so I was born on the 28th of February, 1974 at 14:20 in the afternoon. And so, oh yeah, it did reset to Snohomish.
Yeah, you
Okay,
didn't.
so,
You weren't born in Snohomish.
no. For a second I was like, wait, it didn't reset. So you can see that sun in Pisces, moon at 28, like towards the end of Taurus, and right around 16 degrees Cancer for my rising, which is all true. And if I cast that, then we are looking at my chart.
Hey, in
Yeah.
Snohomish.
I can also do add here and now, and so now we're looking at my transits for here and now, and here and now will be updating in real time, which will be very hard to see here because I'm not showing anything except for the traditional 7.
Yeah, you would have to look at the moon to see if anything moves. When the moon, I think the moon goes about 13 degrees per day or something like that, right?
Yeah, I could throw in the parts, but we've already demoed
We've already demoed that. Why are we
demoing
redemoing
all that
things?
stuff works? So we now have the ability to cast charts, and you can just go to /astrology/cast. And like I could say, we're currently in Snohomish, and I could say for today, but for the chart at noon today.
Oh, sorry. I went to you. I went to you full screen.
Oh,
Let me do
no.
this. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. All right, there
No
it is.
worries. Yeah, and that was the chart this afternoon at noon. Local.
New Luke. I
Noon
love it.
local.
Luke. That, by the way, I've been
Yeah.
learning some Dutch. Luke is like neat or great. Luke.
Oh, cool.
Luke. Lukel. Very good, Mr. Henry. I'm very proud of
Um,
you, and I
yeah,
love you.
thanks.
Great.
Aw.
I don't know. I'm very tired right now. I apologize.
We're
Deeply.
both pretty tired. We've had a lot of stuff going on, as the viewer knows.
Yeah,
And
that's why it's
family,
been a fuel summer.
yeah.
That's
Jake's
why
family
everything
just
sounds like very
left,
punny
so.
and silly. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I just said that your family was here for like a week and just
Yeah,
left,
we
so
like.
we were like in.
Here's what we did. We dropped them off at the airport. We returned a car. We took a train. We got a mercurial detour. We could talk about that some other day. Then ended up at Trey's parents' house, and we were like, we have to do some work because we've done no work really this week. I mean, with the exception of what you're seeing right now. And yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, but enough of those excuses. Let's go to me. So we've been we've been doing some work to kind of assemble things a little bit more concretely than we have in the past, and that has given us the opportunity to start assembling things in more of like a flow experience. And like I had told you earlier, prepare to be underwhelmed. We are going to do what's called the first design rough walkthrough. So what is this that you're seeing over here? This is, first of all, really like a very stylized presentation. It's done in Keynote, and you should be very proud of how, on brand this is, number one. But more importantly, number two, as we start getting things in place, or even things that are like in flight, what we're going to do is start putting them into a rough walkthrough like this. Maybe I'll change this every iteration. Who knows? And we'll just see how much closer and closer we get. The reason we do this is not just for vanity purposes, which are important, but also to just help us understand if these things are feeling right. And here, Trey has not seen this yet. So, Trey, the question for you then, Mr. Henry, is does this feel right? Okay? That is the question today. And I'm not going to zoom in on any of this stuff. I'm just going to kind of click through. So we start with casting a chart. You recognize this. Location, date, time. Looks very much like this. Now, the thing is that we had a bug where, and we still have this bug, where the location is inextricably hooked up to the time zone. And for the most part, you want those things, but sometimes you don't. And there's a good reason why. Sometimes there isn't the idea of time zone if you're talking about a really old chart, like what's called LMT or local mean time. But there's might be other reasons why you'd want to use a different time zone. So when you, that's a very weird transition. When you type in the location, you type in the date, what it does for you is it says, you're looking at Libertyville, Illinois, USA on the 7th of June, 2024. You will default you to Central Daylight Time because we know it's a central time zone and we know that you are falling under daylight saving. You can click that down arrow on time zone to actually choose a different time zone, such as UTC, for example, in case you didn't want to put your time in CDT. Mr. Henry, anything else you want to talk about when it comes to that?
No, that's great. The only thing I just realized is that I didn't talk about UTCville.
Oh yeah, we'll get back to UTCville in a second. Actually,
Okay.
let's take a little pause right now. Let's go here. Tell the viewer about UTCville. Do you want to show the viewer about UTCville?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to you.
So, well, here, this is the easiest way to do it is just to pull it up. So I'm here on location on the cast chart. And if I type UTC, you'll see that we have a location called UTCville in Meridius, Zeronia.
Yeah, where is Meridius, the state of Meridius, and where is the country of Zeronia?
Well, the UTCville in the state of Meridius, country of Zeronia, is slightly off the coast of Ghana. It's
Would it happen
it's
to be somewhere around the zero
zero
parallel?
zero lat long,
Yeah.
possibly. It's probably right around there.
And the reason that
Uh,
we're using UTCville is exactly like this is we say that the time zone for UTCville is UTC.
yeah, exactly. So this is right now. This is the only way to get the like ETSI UTC time zone. And
What do you mean by Etsy UTC, by the way?
oh, that's the like this. So like when you have the name of the time zone, the actual like IANA time zone name. So it'd be like America/Los Angeles. UTC is actually ETC ETC/UTC.
ETC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And so yeah. So anyway, this is the only way to get UTC up right now.
Thank you for that diversion. You'll notice, by the way, if you just do a quick comparison, if you can go back to your chart for a second, like not the view, there you go. Take a look. Like mine is wrong because there's no glass effect on the pane here. But you'll notice that Trey doesn't have a title in here. Bug. Need to fix that. Oh,
Oh no! Oops, sorry.
how dare you? You can't.
That was bound to happen. Yeah, there's no title, but we also don't have the borders and rounded corners, so they're slightly.
You know what? It's fine. This is why I said it's a rough
also,
prototype.
excuse me. Another thing is that you do not have the big three.
No, I don't have the big three, and we had talked about that. It's fine. Calm down. Okay. So here we are, cast chart, and like I said, you can choose CDT or UTC or maybe some other time zone. Who the heck knows? And then you hit cast, and then you get your chart. And then you'll see on the left-hand side, there's this bar over there. And what is this like dark bar that has this chevron that's pointing this way? I did it correctly. It's pointing this
nice.
way.
Good job. Is it this way?
Um,
Yeah, it is.
Now, I'm going to tell you that the animation that is about to happen is wild and not what's going to be true. But like, let's say you click open that panel to open up what's happening on the left-hand side. So you click that open. Oh, look at that animation. Yes. And you get what you start seeing is all of the, what's called the ring cards. So this is a transits ring for a date that, is wrong or whatever. But like,
yeah.
here you can add a new ring if you would like to. And this is how you would manage the rings that you put on there and what the order of the rings are, all of that good stuff. But let's collapse that back down in the worst animation ever. Thank you very much. And you're like, in this chart, I would like to poke at the moon. I wonder what the moon was looking like, what the configuration of the moon was on this day. So you click, or maybe you might hover, you might click on the moon, and what you get is, boop, this little thing here. Now, again, this is not designed well, but fine. And you see that it's in house 7 and that it's a waning gibbous. Now, you might be saying to yourself, dear Jake, as a designer, you already have the icon of the moon and the house and the zodiacal sign and the placement. Why do you have to repeat all that stuff? That is a great piece of critique, dear viewer, and thank you for noticing that. And that is not something that we'll be doing, but something we'll be fixing in the future. But that's why we did it, to take a look at this stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. I love it.
It's fun, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that we're we have, as we've talked about in the past, my brain does not work in abstract well, and we were in abstract land for quite some time, and it was very difficult for me to try to wrap my head around everything. So I feel like we're actually getting closer. Like I think there is something really to be celebrated in this video, which is that we can cast a chart now in our astrology software.
Yeah,
like you can cast a chart without having to go to a terminal or a console, like as a user of the software. Not that you can use it right now because it's not like released anywhere, but you can actually cast a chart in our astrology software.
Indeed, you can.
Yay! It only took a year.
I'm not going to tell the viewer to do anything. In fact, I'm going to tell Trey to do something. Trey, can you go back to localhost 4000 for a second? Because I have an instruction for you. Not the dear viewer. No, not there. There you go. So any eagle-eyed viewers will notice that Trey he's using a browser called Arc, and that he's kept the same color scheme for Arc throughout this entire journey. And so what I'm asking the viewers to do is including this viewer here, if you use Arc, why don't you just change up the color scheme today? You know, freshen it up a little bit. We've seen the whole color scheme,
Yeah.
the same color scheme all the time. You don't have to do it now. We're doing a podcast right now. Stop doing it now. I'm watching you doing it. Stop.
Well, maybe I'll just do it like.
Okay, well, you do that now. There, you go do that, and I'm going to say to the viewer, go freshen up your colors right now. Have yourself a beautiful day, and we hope that you have a lovely time. Look at this green mess that Trey has made. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.